Welcome to another episode of Thoughts Podcast. We are not thoughts, but we have thoughts. True, honest opinions towards success. Join us for another candid conversation and valuable insight on achieving success in life and navigating through today's culture. Hosted by myself, Zakira Casado, along with some incredible guests. We're here to explore you on your journey of triumph. Let's dive in. Welcome back for another episode of Thoughts Podcast, where we are not thoughts, but we have thoughts, true, honest opinions towards success. I am intrigued to have our next guest that's going to join us. This individual I know very well, and he's very dear to me, not just because he is a boss of all bosses, but because he definitely is one of the most awesome humans I know on the planet. And so this individual is Link the Khemist. He's a technologist and free thought leader whose mission is to save the world by preserving the culture. Hello, Link.
Hey, Zai. How are you?
I am
I'm
great.
great. I'm
Where in the
great.
world are you? Are you in Costa Rica, Europe, Florida, New York?
I'm actually, you guessed right. I'm in Florida right now. Still living in Costa Rica, but I'm in Florida right now. What you see behind me, I'm on a site doing a walkthrough for an event that we're planning out here later on this year. So stay tuned for that. How are you?
I'm well. Well, thanks for joining us. And for a lot of you who don't know, me and Link have been friends and business partners for a while. And was one of the first. Well, actually, he actually pushed me when I was changing and he kind of kicked me into asking for what I was worth. And so
Absolutely.
I will always be indebted to you because those checks were very nice.
Yes.
So I appreciate you believing in me and everything that I do, as well as I believe in you. So let's get into it. Let's talk about this.
Yeah.
I know you've done a lot. You're an author. You've done so many things. But let's talk about your title. You are a technologist, free thought leader. What do you mean when you say that your mission is to save the world by preserving the culture?
Well, I'm a technologist and a free thought leader because the world that we want is created through not just thought, but free thought. Thought that's unrestricted by the opinions or dogma or obligations of someone else, that put on us. And I'm a technologist because technology is the tool that we can use to build this world that we want to see. So when I say I'm, saving the world through preserving the culture, well, we are the culture, and the culture is the currency, as I always say. All over the world, no matter where you go, you've traveled to different parts of the world, you see the culture there. And so that shows and proves that it is valuable wherever you are. Globally, it is valuable. People wearing Tupac shirts, Biggie Small shirts, bandanas, hats to the side because of the culture, that started arguably in New York in the 80s. And so we now have the ability to set trends on these popular social media platforms. And you're a social media expert. You see that. The trends that we set and how much money, you talk about KPIs a lot, how much money is made from these trends. Well, with technology and the new developments in technology, we now have the power to control access to our content that we create in a way that makes sure that we're paid directly before anybody else is paid. And so this is something that I am inspiring or working to inspire people to do. It's not just about blockchain. It's not just about crypto. It's not just about AI. It's not just about VR or AR. It's about your thoughts and your ability to create and to use those technologies as a tool to be technologically agnostic, so that we can build the world that we want to see.
So you mentioned AI, and I know you are an expert at blockchain technology. You have graced the stage of many because of that. But what are your thoughts in the pros and cons of AI? Because I see a lot of pros. I obviously do take full advantage of it. I sometimes even ask it questions about personal things just to see what it will say.
Yeah. You gotta see. Okay, you gotta fans watch.
I'm like, you better get your therapy on.
Fans watching, baby. Absolutely. As with anything, Zai, it's a double-edged sword. It's a double-edged sword. And it's important for us to understand who we are and the foundation of everything. So before I answer the question on AI, and this is great timing, I just finished a training course with Leeway Hertz, which is an AI company. So I'll tell you more about that. But we want to start with the foundation and understanding that AI is nothing but the content and information that we've been putting on to these platforms in the form of blogs, in the form of vlogs, in the form of these types of conversations, interviews. All they're doing is creating huge transcripts and loading them into what's called large learning models. Think about what that sounds like. Large is something huge. A learning model is something that models the process of learning, and they're taking all of that data, which is just us, everything that we've been sharing, and they're dumping it into these large containers that are meant to learn to do things the way that we do. So when we ask about AI, it's important for us to, as they say, overstand, understand, right? Super woke, but it's important for us to realize that we are the AI. The AI doesn't exist without us. That's why the culture is the currency. So that should immediately cause any fear of AI to subside because it places you in a position of power immediately. Oh, snap. I was putting stuff on the web on MySpace 20 years ago. I was.
Mhm.
And I'm seeing this stuff in the AI. I'm seeing it because all AI does is organize our thoughts for us. Like, let's
Yeah.
keep it a buck. It just
Yeah.
organizes our thoughts in a way, like if we had a personal assistant to tell, hey, I need you to write these things down in this order and organize it this way so that I can present it. That's what AI. And so that's my thought on whether or not AI is good or bad. Are you good or bad? Are you doing something for good or bad? Can you control that good or bad? All right, then you have liberty over using AI and protecting yourself from what the potential dangers could be. Does that make sense?
Right. So that's pretty powerful. And if you're listening and watching to this episode, I forgot to tell you to grab a pen and paper because this episode you're going to get a lot of nuggets. But
I
anyway,
appreciate that.
so when you say it should subside your fears, do you know how some people have the conspiracy theories and they kind of take things and stretch it? You don't think AI can get so out of control that it replaces human beings? Because I feel like, well, I not just feel like, I remember watching something with Elon Musk, and he was saying there's going to be a lot of replacement because this technology,
Mhm.
technology. Why can I get it out?
Technological,
There you go.
technological. Yeah.
Shift in the world
Uh-huh.
that a lot of these in jobs, like, I won't lie, I recently downloaded a software that helps me, and the person who I had helping me to edit, it's kind of like their job is
Uh,
non-existent.
uh, 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 uh. So here you are, right? You're seeing that this is something that's affecting the business owner because for the first time, AI is making it so that the so-called little man can compete with the big company. And so the individuals who have not built a framework or a business model or a plan or a brand, they do not, they're relying on working for someone. But the people who would otherwise be able to hire them are looking for the lowest bottom line so that they can expand their businesses and increase their revenue. And so this is the existential split that we now sit in. We were riding here this morning to this site, and we seen a guy who was on the side of the road who said, "Hey, I'm not homeless. I just need some extra help." So this is where we're going right now.
Hmm.
Jobs are being replaced. You're going to be
Yeah.
replaced if you don't have an idea or a concept that you are implementing right now. You're going to be replaced, and you just proved that. And don't feel bad about it because I've been there with you as you've worked to improve yourself and push yourself above your peers. I've been working there alongside you. We've spent tens of thousands, if not twenties and hundreds of thousands of dollars in errors and training and degrees, certifications, etc. If people didn't do that, we're at a point where now your customer service is going to be handled by an agent, a bot. They don't care
Yeah.
about your feeling in
No.
regards to what's going to happen next. They're just all they care about is what they're programmed. So yes, People's jobs are about to be replaced. Yes, there are two worlds that we're going to go into. Here's the prophecy, right? And it says it in all of your religious books. There are two worlds that we're going to go into. One will be the world of the innovators. This will be the utopia. This will be the world where our advancements and our developments are constantly improving and expanding and progressing ourselves, the world, our culture, etc. And the other world will be inhabited by the individuals who did nothing and relied on someone else. And we are not those individuals, and we have to stop pandering to those individuals. If you would like something new for yourself, you must adopt new ways of thinking. You know, your actions are affected by your beliefs, right? So you must first work on your beliefs and your ability to understand that this is something that you can do. You just need the education. And once you get the education, you're going to take off. Hence the reason why you're looking at technological advances that have been in the works for 20, 30 years, and you're just finding out about it because they didn't want to educate you on them because you would have had time to catch up. But I'm here
Yeah.
to tell you that it's not too late. It's not too late. So that's the answer to your AI question.
Wow. That's a lot to digest, y'all. Wow. So go into the world of innovators. And let's say and I'm not saying I'm not an innovator, but someone who is not an innovator, what would you tell them they should do right now? They don't have any idea of what to do or where they need to get into fit in. How do I get into fit in? Like I'm not asking for me because I've learned that's one of the ways I've
No, I get
learned
it.
over
Yeah,
the
yeah,
years
yeah,
to
yeah.
kind of it's always been always a source for me.
I
But
already know. I already know.
because you got to figure that out. You have to literally figure out how to place
Uh,
yourself in position.
yeah.
And, they say 80% of success is showing up and
Yep.
being in a place with the right people at the right time.
It's a
So,
fact.
where should people be right now in the world of technology?
Stop chasing, man. That's what like. Here's the thing, right? In order to figure out what it is that you have to contribute, I'm going to say the kooky spiritualist, saying of go within. And what
Yeah.
I mean by that is, right, close your eyes and consider what you want your life to look like next year, in 3 years, in 5 years, and in 10 years. Those are all odd numbers, so it gives you a good amount of time to sort of sift through the bullshit you're gonna go through. Because you're gonna go through some shit. I just want to let that be known right now. If you're taking this path, you're gonna have haters, you're gonna have people who reveal to you who they are, you're going to have people who try and stop you. So let's keep that in mind right now before we even do this exercise. This is not a fairy tale exercise. This is a real get down to the nitty gritty exercise. Once you accept that and absorb that thought, then you can be quiet, you can go within, you can go be still and think about, all right, 1 year from now, doesn't matter how big it sounds because your mind, as long as you can think it, somebody had to think of this chair before it was created, somebody had to think of that car before it was created. So as long as you can think it, it can come. So you're the only restriction to that. So go within, think, what do I want? 1 year, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years. All right, boom, come back to reality. And once you come back to reality, whatever your first year thought was, let's say that your plan was, all right, in a year I want to open a bar. We'll start getting into the groups with people who already have bars. Start getting into the channels and the chat, and start going to the bar conferences. Start going to the network events that only cost, Eventbrite. They have free events. They
Yeah.
have events that are $25. They have those. Start learning what it takes. Once you learn what it takes and you give a genuine effort to input what it takes, oh, everything else gonna work out for you, baby. I'm not trying to make it seem like it's gonna be easy because it's not. I don't know what's coming after that. I'm not your consultant to tell you, hey, this is what's next, because only you know what's in your mind and what you're bringing to yourself. I don't want no parts of it. I'm gonna give you the tools. I'm the technologist and the free thought leader, but I'm not the free thought. I'm not here to lead your thought. It's free thought, you in doing. And so once you start building with other people who have taken those free thought and use different technologies, whether they're Web3, blockchain, or just the internet, they got a digital presence. They still use those technologies more than likely. Then you can see what it's going to start to look like for you. That's the
Mm,
start.
mm. So one of the things that you said a lot, but going within, which
Mm-hmm.
culturally, I think, and I don't even think it's just a black person thing. I think it's just in this day and age, a lot of us, and I may say, let me preference it even more of a more specific, where I think it's even more so of an American thing, or
Mm-hmm.
where we don't have time to be still. And I know,
Mm.
like you said, you we don't want to sound like a cliche, but really pausing does a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Stopping, pausing, and really literally going within, because the reality is most people wake up, they pick up their phones, they go on social media, they get their path in on which how their day goes is based on what they've seen. They have not put
Yes.
in any kind of resources, meditation, nothing.
Yeah.
So it's your mental state and what you are going to experience is based on what you put in, garbage out, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
How would you say, do you think it's difficult for a person who is over 25, 30 years and they decide, hey, I want to get in where I fit in, I want to be still. They never be
Mm-hmm.
still. They never, they are not, they don't know how to do personal development. What would you
Mm-hmm.
say
You
to
asked
them?
me a few questions. You asked me a few questions. So I think it's difficult. Hell yeah. It's difficult because social media is a market and you got to wake up and check the markets if you want to be ahead. But it's the next layer of that is it's difficult because social media is also an extrinsic, meaning that it like
Mm,
pulls out of you your energy and you're consuming someone else's thoughts that aren't really truly there. They're getting it from someone else and just projecting it because somebody usually paid them to do it or they have an agenda. So you don't even know this person. You can't reach out, touch, feel this person, but you're consuming whatever it is they're giving you. And there are crystals
yeah.
in these phones, and you have crystals in your mind. So that's a beacon. They're sending you a huge stream of electrically charged particles through this device. Like, think about it,
Mm.
right? That's deep, but it's not. You know what I'm
It's
saying? So
so deep.
to to wake up and consume that first thing, and you're saying that you have your goals. Like I know people who instead of working out, they'll watch workout videos all day. Like talk about living vicariously through somebody. Yeah. Like they watch the videos and it's like, why don't you go to the gym? And I'm watching them do it. I want to be ready. I want to have a plan. Well, how long? At what point is it procrastinating and not planning? And
Mm,
so we have to be very careful of what we are consuming right now because everything is about an algorithm. The whole world. Like I just told you, I came from this AI enterprise AI use case training, and they were talking about how everything that you do will be taken over by what's called an agent. An agent is just like a customer service agent, but it's a computer. So this is they're creating entire automated workforces. Okay. And so this agent is going to, like I said, answer all the questions, go through, take everything for you, take everything from all of the apps that you're using, all the data, right? And put together reports for you. It's going to tell you what to do next based on the reports, all of those things. So we're in a world where, well, not we're not in a world. They're striving to create a world where human thought is no longer valuable. It's null
right.
and void. How do you build something that is separate and unique in that world? And that is by remaining true to who you are and not consuming what's given to you every single time something is put out there for you to consume. Does that make sense?
Absolute sense. Absolutely. Um, Another thing that you said prior to this question was you were talking about manifestation. You didn't say manifestation, but you were describing to pause and see your 5 years, see your 6 years. What do you agree or disagree with this? Because many philosophers, entrepreneurs, um, manifestors believe
Mm-hmm.
that in order to that good and bad we manifest it. Do you believe that we create our worlds good, bad, and indifferent?
Yeah, every problem with a solution to every single problem. If you're dating somebody who sucks, because something about you sucks. That attracts the person. So fix it.
Wait, say that again. Say that again because you kind of went low.
If you're dating someone who sucks, then it's because something about you sucks that attracted that person. So fix it. You worried about fixing that person. Like I said, once you fix whatever you got going on, that person falls off anyway, but we're afraid to let go. So that's number one. Number two is positive and negative is it's subjective. It should be looked at objectively, but it's subjective. If something happens, we think that pain is something that we don't like, and pleasure is something that we do. But you ever been tickled to the point where you're like, stop? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Usually a tickle is a great feeling, but if it's too much, you don't like it. And it's the same thing. We want this abundance of things without having to go through the lessons that come with that. We look at our L's as losses instead of lessons. Sometimes you, like I said before, you got to give some shit up. So manifesting, I don't know. I think manifesting is a played out term at this point. We have manifested. We're here because we manifest. So we don't got to worry about it. Now it's about generating, operating, and destroy. Generating anything that we want to have in our cipher, right? Our circle. Operating those things to continue to bring us forth that progress and destroying those things that work against us. All of it is a mirror anyway. So when people say, as you manifest, you get good and bad, it's balance. Like the waves go in and out. It's just balance. Not necessarily good and bad. That's subjective.
Whew. It's like my toes are curling as we keep talking. This is so good.
Yeah.
So I
Thank
want
you.
to go. I want to go back to something you said. You said if you're dating someone and they suck, you have something about you that sucks, and that's why you attracted them.
Yeah.
So let
Yeah.
me just tell you something that happened to me recently.
Okay.
So I'm very much single. I'm dating. Blah blah blah. I went on a date with this person,
Yeah.
and this person, I have never had an experience dating a man who was extremely not confident. Like you heard, yeah, like it was. I'm about to tell you the blessing behind it though. Um,
Okay.
so you know how like the cliche or the vision of women when they go out to eat, they might order a salad, but they really eat burgers. They might
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
they have like they do things that are not really them because they're trying to impress the guy. They're nervous. That's
I just want to let
usually
everybody at home know this is going to be a great story because it's Zah. Her story is just funny. So go ahead, Zah. Yeah, my bad.
so. Listen,
All
so
right.
we go on this date, and again, if he listens to this, it's no love
Just
lost.
say it. He ain't
I
going.
just
He ain't confident enough to say shit anyway. Go ahead.
so so we go on a date, and the guy is like, normally I have been on dates where men have moved me from my seat so that they can
Mm.
sit in the position where they see
Yeah,
everything.
behind. Yeah, it's your
They
back to
don't want
everything. Yeah,
anything behind them. So
yeah, yeah,
naturally, now when I go on dates, I sit in a position where he can see. But on this date, the guy was like, "Oh man, you're so lucky. You're sitting in that seat because no one is looking at you. Even though I know people not looking at me, I know that, but I just don't like that. I think that they're looking at me. So I'm like, okay, he has social anxiety. It might not be confidence, it's social anxiety. Okay, let me just be, careful here.
yeah,
But then we
yeah,
start ordering food,
yeah.
and the guy goes, "Oh man, I'm just going to get some vegetables and something else." And don't get me wrong, I do think he
Is he
doesn't eat.
talking like this? He's like, oh man, I'm just gonna get some vegetables. Is he talking like that?
Well, what
Because
he
that should
said
have been your
was,
sign.
"Man, I feel fat." So I don't even. No, he said, "I don't want to eat, and I'm already fat." So I'm just sitting
I
there
know
like,
that.
now
Hey, I know that feeling. I just will never
I
say it
know
out
that
loud, but I know
feeling
that feeling.
too. But
Yeah.
I would not describe this person as fat. And so,
Mm.
if someone was just talking, well, what does he look like? I would, well, he's okay looking, but he,
Mm.
little whatever. But I wouldn't say he's fat. But
Mm.
and then later on after the day and stuff, we talk here and there, and it was always a constant reassurance of, no, I don't think this. No, I think you're a great person. And it got exhausting. But you know what
Like
it
an
did for
energy
me?
vamp. Yeah.
You know what it did for me, Link? it showed
Right.
me though, and it made me
Yeah.
wonder, have I displayed this in the past? And if I have, this is why I might have attracted someone who sucked, because I kind of
Absolutely.
sucked in this area.
We all
And so,
have. We all
yeah.
have.
And so, even though this person isn't for me, obviously, because I would probably lose my mind dealing with them, they, for real, because I don't have time to reassure anyone. I
I
still got to
got you.
reassure myself, you know?
I got
But
you, B.
seeing that, I was like, okay, let me never let me never, and I
Yeah.
mean this with the big
Yeah.
never, display
Yeah.
or limit yourself to feel like you don't deserve to be self.
Mm.
Because when we don't be
But
self, we rob ourselves from giving people the true experience of us and our own selves. So I was very thankful of that. But when you said that when we suck, we have to take heed, and a lot of people, it's hard for people to accept the good that they have and the bad that they attract versus the
mm,
good. Not saying that all bad, because I believe
mm-mm.
sometimes, and tell me if you agree with me, I do sometimes, you do attract certain energies to test us, to test ourselves,
Yes.
or to teach us some things.
Absolutely. I mean, again, back to those religious texts that say the same thing. Whatever it is that you're praying for, you're going to get tests that are meant to trigger the things in you that would otherwise keep you from receiving what we prayed for. And the only way that you get it is to overcome that test. It's like in school, the
Like
only way you get to the
patience,
next grade, the only way you get to the next grade is if you
past all
complete the
this
test
other stuff. Yeah,
successfully.
yeah.
And it's going to be pop quizzes in between there. It's going to be unit tests. It's going to be examinations. It's going to be presentations. It's going to be all those things. That's what you're going through in life. Like we're so anti-school system, but the school system just used the natural cycles of life in order to prepare you for what they wanted you to be prepared for. Not necessarily that they didn't use stuff that was pre-existent. And so now we've taken ourselves through our own lessons and trials and tribulations and grades and levels and upgrades. And so that's what that was for you. You know now, I'm never doing that shit again.
No,
Nope.
like he helped me be
Pass the
like
test.
confidence on.
You pass the
Oh,
test.
you know what I'm saying? But in life, I like that you use that similarity, because I do think it's similar, but I do think in life, you get the lesson, you get the trial first, and then you learn the lesson later. But then
Absolutely.
where it's like school, I believe what Oprah says is that you're going to keep getting that same brick until you overcome it. You're going to keep getting that same issue or that
That's a
same. It's kind of like how some people might not realize it, but they might be attracting similar people.
and this is so I'm in technology, right? But in my nonprofit, and we'll speak more about the nonprofit. We don't just focus on tech. We don't just focus on what you can build and how this can help your business. Like we start with wellness. Um, we start with self for this reason because that gentleman who you're talking about, somebody hurt him.
Yes.
Somebody, you know what I'm saying?
Bad.
Somebody made him feel that way, and so you can't build a motherfucking thing. Like, can you imagine running a business with that guy?
Yeah.
No disrespect to him, but
No.
everything that he would attempt to do, because he wouldn't do shit, everything that he would attempt to do would be rooted in that feeling of inferiority. And so he wouldn't be able to get past the next thing. And we know what that feels like. We've been there,
Been
and
there.
this is
Yeah.
why we could have been wealthy 10 years ago, but we were where he was. And there's nothing
Yeah.
wrong with him being there. And so
No.
I want to bring somebody on. I got a surprise guest for you because we have a director of wellness for the Web3 Renaissance Movement, which is my nonprofit organization. And again, we want to. The reason for that is because we want to make sure that at the very foundational level, you know where you need to be positioned emotionally, mentally, spiritually, even if that's your thing, so that you can drive success in whatever it is that you'd like to do. So, can you come here for a second? Give me 1 second. Come here for a second. I gotta take this. All right. Okay, so this is Martika Charmaine Dixon. She is our director of wellness. Yes, for the Web3 Renaissance movement. And what I'm doing here, you've been asking where I'm traveling to, what I'm doing. So the project, the reason why I've moved to Costa Rica, and the project that has been established in Costa Rica because of her. She's brought us to Costa Rica. And so I wanted you to see why this to us is more than tech. This is about self first. So I wanted her to speak.
Yeah. Hi, Martika. Welcome.
Hi.
You are
Hello.
so beautiful.
Thank you. You too. I love it.
Share with us all of that. When is it within self or about self first?
Yes, for sure. So Link's cool because he's into the tech thing, and I think it's really great. I think it's really, really important for everybody to understand how that works. But on the opposite side of that, you can get so immersed, so involved in that world where you kind of neglect yourself. So it's important for everybody to take a step back and like reevaluate, like, am I getting lost in this digital world? Am I getting lost in the possibility of the future instead of dealing with what's currently going on with me right now? And within the movement, I realized that there's a lot of people who struggle with stepping back and taking care of themselves, like just like the basic things, stretching, drinking water, like looking away from the screen and going outside and getting sun.
20 minutes. 20 minutes.
20 minutes,
20 minutes after an hour.
Mm-hmm. Go outside and get some sun, and drink water outside and walk around outside barefoot, like I'm a hippie, like I like to be barefoot and free. So it's important for it all to come together, because our people don't do that now.
Yeah.
In general.
Yeah. So let's.
It can be really distracting because I really Monday I put my phone on a charger, leave it in another room, and I realized I need to clean my house. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
I need to make sure this is good because I'm going to function better to be able to do the things in which I do online to provide the value. So I agree with that.
Exactly.
You said to walk outside barefoot. We had a guest on a previous show a couple of weeks ago that talked about grounding. Yes. Is that why you talked about walking
that's why.
barefoot? And can you tell us like the benefits of that?
So the benefits of grounding, it keeps you connected to spirit. It keeps you connected to the world that you're in right now and not anything else. Even if it's not grass or outside, even just putting your feet in the fibers of your carpet or walking on the laminate floor or the hardwood floor, just connecting yourself to your physical environment around you is really important. So that way you can take
all the phenomena.
Yes, you can take it all in and absorb and figure out what can I do better. What am I doing great? Because it's good to acknowledge the good things that you're doing when you're grounding. And
I mean, that's been the biggest thing, and it's funny. It's making me think about. So, Martika has lost over 100 pounds. And so I've struggled with the weight loss thing, and that's what she does. So, on a private basis.
Get off of here, Link. I want to talk to her.
Hold on, but I want to tell you something that we talked about, right? Eating. Can you tell her about being present eating? That's all.
The crazy thing, like for me, losing weight was daunting, right? Because I was 200. My biggest, I was 248 pounds, and I don't know what I weigh now. I think I'm like, yes, I was 248 pounds. And my biggest thing, it wasn't what I was eating, it was how I was eating, like eating quick, fast, and you're not paying attention to what you're putting in your body. You're not listening to your stomach. You're not listening to your body, like at the end of my meal, I would find myself over full or like I would have pains or gas. So my thing was gas. I had like lots of painful gas. And it was because I was taking in more air than food because I'm, like taking, exactly. So you're putting in air all throughout your body and you're like, oh my gosh, my stomach hurts and I would eat once a day because I was like, oh, I'm just eating too much, right? So I would cut it down to once a day, but I would still shovel food in mouth, you know, and it's like, again, man. So once I started to pay attention to what I was eating and how I was eating in my environment when I was eating and not in front of the TV, not in front of my phone or my, you know, my computer or socializing and eating, just sitting, yes, filling yourself while you eat, putting the fork in your mouth, chewing it until there's nothing left, and then getting enough swallowing and then getting another forkful and doing the same thing. And you will realize you won't even get halfway through your plate and you'll be full.
Yeah.
You know, I had a very funny experience because I had so much gas on this date once that I'm like, what is happening here? And I didn't even realize it's because you're eating fast or
It's
whatever.
because you're eating
But
fast.
I really have done journaling, a book journal, with what I eat, and I realized that when I had an injury recently, I was emotionally eating, right?
Ooh.
Yeah, you're not even hungry. You just go in there and eat.
You
But
just, yeah. Or bored of eating.
definitely 100 pounds. I've done lost pounds in my day, but 100 pounds is no joke. So kudos to
It's
you,
no.
and I
Thank
know
you. I
that you
appreciate it.
feel amazing.
So
That is
great.
hard to do. I mean, not easy to do. It's very difficult to lose a whole 100 pounds.
Yeah. Whole
But I
person.
do want to ask another question.
Mhm.
Um, in regards to your water intake, because you kept talking about water, I think we don't
Mhm.
have water, including myself. I think your body does tell you when you need it. Um,
Yes.
what paradigm shift happened though for you that made you go, I'm locked in now?
So it was just my environment. I didn't like my environment. And I associated my environment with the way I looked because I knew when I
Mm,
wasn't in that type of environment, I looked a certain kind of way. Right. So
yeah,
my thing, I like to tell people, for me, it was easy because it was like, I don't want this anymore. And I
yeah,
know this is what it is. So I'm going to change it.
yeah,
Period. By any means necessary. It's just about, my mom tells me this all the time. You'll know when you've had enough because you'll leave.
yeah,
Just be done.
Like you'll be done. It'll be it. You'll
Walk
yeah,
know
away.
exactly when you're ready, it'll click. You know,
yeah,
trying to like beat it into someone's head or convince them that this is what they need, it's not gonna work because
yeah,
they haven't accepted it themselves, you know.
yeah.
So
Can I add to that? Can
yeah.
I just say, big ups to my friend Jamie Red Azode, personal trainer, who said people are too caught up in losing weight instead of releasing. Because the reason why, like I said, that you gotten the weight on you, you pounded all the weight, is you're taking on something. You can't
Yeah.
lose that. To lose it is to
Mm,
essentially find it again. The
Mhm.
lost and found, right?
Yeah.
But to release it is to let it go. It's like releasing a bird. That bird, that's what spirit is. It's a
That's
bird,
spirit.
right? That's what that energy is. Releasing it, it's gone. It doesn't come
yeah,
back. It finds somewhere else to be, to nest,
Mhm.
if you will. So that's what, we have practiced because when you said water, juicing has been used.
Yeah.
Structured water.
I was
yeah,
gonna say it's not just water. It's not just cracking open the water and drinking it back. It's about putting stuff in that water that you're drinking that's gonna give you nutrients because water's heavy. Have you ever tried like first thing in the morning, drink a cup of water? It's like the hardest thing in the world to swallow
yeah,
because it's really really dense. So, but if you put like frozen fruit in it and let it sit, let the fruit melt into the water, and then you drink it first thing in the water in the morning, it's a lot easier and it goes down easier because there's what is it? You're a nerd. There's
What?
a chemical compounds
Yeah,
in
the
the
mixture and infusion of
like
yeah.
I love
process.
lemon
Yeah.
I love lemon water. That's my favorite.
Lemon water is really
Yeah,
good.
yeah, yeah.
Or key lime
Key
water.
lime. That's the
That's
big
the
thing.
best.
Key
Key lime.
lime,
Elon?
sweet key
Mhm.
lime.
Key lime.
Key lime is great. It's very alkaline. It cleanses your body in the beginning of the morning with warm water, some warm spring water and key lime, or warm distilled water. I wouldn't say purified, distilled water and key lime. It's really, but the coconut.
Coconut is my favorite.
Yeah.
Coconut
Coconut water?
water. That's the best water. That's the
Yeah.
best water. And you have coconut water. it's an acquired taste. You have to find the right coconut for you. They have the young green, they have the brown, they have toasted.
We went through a class on this.
Yeah, it's like a ton of coconuts. So to just say drinking coconut water will fix it, you have to find the right one. Because my mom despises coconut water, but she's only had two kinds. The one that with the milky kind.
Yeah.
It's like the toasted. I don't really care for that one. And then the young green coconut, which has like a nutty. It's more nutty to me.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think so. You got to find the ones that were in Costa Rica.
Can I say?
Go ahead.
Wait, hold on. So we had a whole. I don't need to cut her off. She's not telling her because I guess she doesn't know what she can say. So I want to say, we had a whole like powwow. Ourselves and a couple of other friends. So she made us each grab our own coconut on the land that we were on in Costa Rica, and take down the coconut, pass around the machete, open the coconut,
which was interesting.
The green coconuts, it was funny. And the little, what's that stuff? That little gel stuff, and we had to eat that. And
what is the pulp inside?
Yeah, the pulp, but the first layer of it, on the green. These are the peepas, remember?
Yeah.
We didn't have the hairy. They were the green peepas. So you cut it off, and then there's a layer of like plasma.
That's the hydration.
The hydration, what is it? Sap? Hydration sap.
Yeah.
We ate that, and then we had to cut again and get the actual water out. You drink that, and it's like if you get thirsty, because in Costa Rica they put chlorine in the water. They put what they call chloro in the water. So if you're an American, that shit will make you sick, and it did. So we had to actually go forage our own coconut water. And each time we got thirsty, it's like, all right, go to the tree.
And that's what the Costa Rica, they would like go up to the, they would have the ladder, like,
go to the tree.
Go ahead.
What's the biggest differences you see living in America versus living in Costa Rica?
Listen, everything. I would say to start, the people. They're more. I don't look Costa Rican. I don't speak Spanish very fluently, but they still embraced me and they taught me and they strive their best to communicate with me so that I can understand, like, hey, I'm friendly, like, you don't understand my language, but I understand people, so I'm going to do things so that you understand that I'm safe. Like, you can talk to me, you can, and that was the biggest thing, because I was very standoffish at first because I'm a New Yorker, right? So it's like, nah, back up. Don't look at me. So I was like, back up,
That was the biggest thing.
So, and then it's like, they're just like, oh no, it's okay. Hi, pretty girl, and I was like, oh, okay, cool. But the people were nice, and then the land. And the ability to get food. Yeah.
Everywhere. And they trade it.
Everywhere.
They trade the food.
You're walking down the street and there's a banana tree and there's mangoes and papaya trees and avocados. And my biggest thing that really blew my mind was I love plants, right? Yeah. And there is a monstera. It's black, it's white and green. It's rare. It's like $100 and something for like a little plant. Like one little leaf is like $100 and something. They grow wild on the side of the road in Costa Rica. I was like, and they're big old plants, so at least 3 bands, right? If I dug it up and took it back to the United States, I could sell it for $3,000. They have resources everywhere, just infinite resources everywhere in that country, and everybody moves like they have resources available. They share with you, they're kind-hearted and open because they have access to things that give them freedom.
And they want, this is why the project is so important, because they want people there. They realize, they're like, yo, we heard on the news that people who look like you guys are really, they're not doing so well. But we have all this. Why don't you come over? At least the people who we have experienced. We're not saying all Costa Ricans are like this.
Right.
The people who we have experienced are like, well, come on over. We have things. We can trade. We can barter. We can work together so that everyone has equity. Digital, physical equity. And that's what, this has all been about. That's what
Tell her what Derek's grandfather said to you.
Yes. So there is a family that we're working with as part of the project. And the grandparents of this family obviously love us, our team very much. So they bring our team over, they cook for us, everything. Yeah. And so he's taking the team, the grandfather, abuelito, as we call him, taking the team through his land. His backyard is cows, and it's a backyard like in Jersey, like the size of that backyard. But it's a cow back there. It's it's rows of pineapple, coconut, plantain, etc. And so he's like, yeah, we just take our food down and cook it. You know what that's like, right? And we're like,
no.
And then he's like, what do you mean? And we're like, we don't have that in the States. No tenemos eso, right? In the States. And so he's like, well, how do you have wealth if you don't grow your own food? And we're like, yeah, that's what I'm trying to tell you.
Yeah. That's
how
what we
do you
mean.
have wealth if you don't grow your own food?
And then we were like the grocery store. He was like, how do you get food? He was like, grocery stores. And he was like, well, what happens if they're closed? Well, we go before they're closed. And he was just like, that doesn't make sense.
It doesn't. Even the store in their community, they all own a piece of the store.
Yep, because they're feeding their resources go to the store.
To their economy, to their little microeconomic models.
One of my goals is to definitely have a garden that provides me with most of all my food. And
come on over.
Huh?
Come on over.
Oh, you said come on over. But the thing that's incredible is that this gentleman said, well, how do you have wealth? And it's funny because that's why I think it's so important to travel, because here we are. We think because you have all of these tangible things that don't manifest into anything. And if something was to go down the world and you couldn't get to, let's say like a tsunami or something, well, that would probably destroy your garden. But let's say it didn't, and that's the only thing you had left for food.
Yeah.
All of those Bentley or whatever that they have, the watches or whatever jewelry. And I'm not saying that don't get those things, but I am saying that they're invaluable when you think about the power of growing your own food.
Yes.
Like, I was not expecting to talk about this one here, but I just think that's so powerful. Like,
so listen, it's everything that we're building on. And so the Costa Rican project that we're working with is just one small drop in the bucket of what we're building. This is the first time that we're releasing this to the public, general public, on your show, right? But we are presenting a private membership club and association for individuals who are striving to work and make these things work, because they want to grow their own food, right? They want to have their own business and brand. They want to have those things working for them, and they're going into these jobs and putting in all this work every day. All they got to do is show up and do what they're told. But the company makes all of the money. We have worked on a way to ensure that they have digital equity in this new age, because we're leaving the industrial age and going into the digital age. Most of our people don't have that. So this is why I wanted to bring on Martika, our director of wellness, so that the people can understand that everything that we're building has that in mind: your wellness, your well-being, your freedom to spend your time with your family and your children and develop, instead of raise your children, cattle raise.
Yep.
You want to mentor and develop your children.
That's the thing, mentor.
You can't do that if you don't have the time. So we have a private membership association. I wanted to let you know. And you always ask this, but I'm getting right to it. It's important. The Digital Equity Assurance Club.
I was just about to ask, elaborate, please, on what, for someone who's like, what's digital equity? They might know what equity is and the concept of it. Normally, when you think of equity, you think about owning a home or having equity in a property.
Good point. Good point.
What do you mean when you say digital equity?
Let's say it. That's great. We just said we're coming from the industrial age to the digital age.
Right.
So can you imagine the wild, wild west before everything was built over there in San Francisco? That you had equity, physical equity there, like you had a plot of land there or a home that you built there. Well, now in the digital age, the same thing is happening. We're in the wild, wild west.
Exactly.
All of these businesses are rushing to the internet instead of to the west, to the internet instead of to the Americas, to the internet to build something. That's why plant your flag to position. And so our people, because of, like I said, I went to this training and they were like, yo, these companies are using all of these AI learning models to just build very quickly and leave people behind. So what are the people who have ideas, who have things that they want to build and have, solutions to the world's problems, what are they supposed to do if they can't afford all of those learning models, all of that technology?
Right.
Well, they're supposed to be assured they have digital equity, and that's what we have a program, a private member association, where yes, there do.
All we ask is trust. Sorry.
All we ask is trust. Word is born up.
I mean,
It's a secret society. All we ask is trust.
Oh God. It's a private society. It is. And yes, there are dues. Like the first thing that we get into is like, oh, so you got this club. You got yes. Yeah. Have you ever looked at any other club or association? However, those things are number one. Those fees are a donation. So that's right. Number two, in exchange for those things, we do everything for you. Give you a business in the box, right? A business in a box where all you have to do is create content, right? You're creating this, the Thoughts podcast. You just send it in. We chop everything up, edit everything. We do all your branding, do all your posting, you answer your phone calls, we manage your schedule, set you up with a team that does those things for you. And the reason for that is because we don't want you to have to worry about anything except for your brand.
Except for what you
except for the creative side.
The coaching.
There you go.
The coaching. That is your digital equity, your intellectual property. And TikTok made, I'm gonna just say this and leave it. TikTok made $52 billion last year, while influencers got 0.0000 something percent, 0.002% of a penny for their stream, while TikTok got dollars.
When TikTok is based off of their stuff, their
metadata, all the stuff that they're putting, all of this stuff that they're putting up, you should be $8,000 per episode. You should.
Yes, literally, I think Facebook must have took their model because last year Facebook was paying the best in the influencer world. But now they done changed up. I don't know what the hell they got going on. You could go viral, you could go crazy, and they still send you like $50. I'm like, bruh, like what happened to But anyway, I do get that.
That's a great point.
Yeah. That's insane. That if you made $52 billion, I guess that's why the U.S. is really trying to ban them.
They are, and this is TikTok and all of that, because you're giving people instant power, even though you're taking all of their money for it. You're still giving them instant influence.
That idea.
You're giving them instant influence, and 1 million followers can now mean $1 million with this new technology. So you got to be aware of that, how you're going to leverage it. This is something to where you got to pay attention to help. You just have to, no matter what. But we want to make it so that you don't have to worry about what that team looks like, or how that team is going to be chosen, or what your strategy is going to be to give that team everything for you.
Now, I remember you telling me around about the cost. I don't know if you want to talk about that on the show, but I was like, how the hell are you doing it for that price? It's very affordable.
Yeah.
It's extremely affordable to be a part of the secret society. All we ask is trust. That's my ADHD. Anyway,
it's all right. I love it. We need it. We have different personalities that make this thing beautiful as it is. Our lowest cost is $100. You can put that out. Because
I still don't get how he do that.
Because I'm in the space. I've been in the space. I've delivered. Space. Now that we're putting this out, there will be smut that's put on my name. But prior to this, there's no smut on my name. You understand? And the reason for that is because I deliver, and I make sure that I don't promise anything. If I'm working on something, I'm gonna tell you, like, I'm working on it. I don't know how it's gonna work out, but I'm working on it, and we can figure it out together. I don't promise solutions that I don't have. You know what I'm saying? I don't promise solutions that I don't have. I tell you, like, I'm building a plan to find it, because we all are, and we can't work competing anymore. No. My competition is me. You can't compete with me. You're gonna lose every time. This is an infinite game I'm playing. You're playing a finite game. You focus on me. I'm focused on you. Yep. So it's not gonna work. The only way that we can win is collaboratively. Collaboratively. That's the only way we can win.
I literally said, because I'm updating 15 Secrets, and one of the things that's not in my book is the collaborative power that social media has. The complete opposite of what our culture has struggled with in the past, which is thinking that if someone is moving forward in life, that's a reflection of that they're leaving us, or the crabs in the barrel mentality.
Yep.
where to really succeed in the digital world, you do need to be collaborative. Okay.
Yeah.
You know, and some, I mean, you could be a lone ranger, but it's going to just be a little harder, I think, and it just doesn't make sense. It's just like, you know, even it's something that even artists do. You know what I'm saying? I keep bringing up Jay-Z's rap, but literally in the culture, which we'll actually talk about, we'll shift because I'm not going to hold you hostage all day, but we'll shift into the true, honest opinions towards success T. Okay. And because we're talking about collaborations and all of that, I'm gonna just go into the rap world for a second. I know I can talk to you about this. Have you, as I know Martika kept emphasizing, you got to get off the phone and stop working. So I don't know if you had time, but have you seen the recent battle with Kendrick Lamar, J. Cole, and now we have Chris Brown and Quavo? Okay. Where literally, even though it's a rap battle, you can see the collaborative effort because even in, I thought J. Cole killed Kendrick, in my opinion. In his reply, but him taking away the reply, what was your thoughts on that?
I think this is all heavily orchestrated.
I see you, my friend.
Yeah, I think it's all heavily orchestrated. People are starting to recognize the glitches in the matrix in the system, and our people are, the culture, I should say, is most powerful. And when we shift our mind, our paradigm shifts collectively with our mindset. And so we're in the midst of that shift. So those individuals and entities already revealed themselves to be who they are, right? They are now inserting something to you can call it a distraction, but it's not even really a distraction. It's like a stunt. Yeah. To divert attention. And so I think him recalling it is him either one or two things. And realizing, like, I don't want to be a part of this. I'm done. Two, I don't want to be involved in this shit either, you know? Because J. Cole is known to be a very thoughtful and, you know, in-depth type of person.
Yeah.
So it could be that, or it could be them trying to keep things going, right? So now he's, oh my God, you have, either way they're going to do that. But it could have been just that reason. Oh my God, so you just took something back, you a punk now. Because you see these guys who are on these YouTube channels and they're empowering the shit out of these guys to say things like, J. Cole is a punk, Kendrick Lamar is a punk. Kendrick Lamar is not responding. He's doing pull-ups in New York. He's from LA. He's doing pull-ups in New York, where J. Cole says that he got all the clout with Jay-Z and he's doing pull-ups. And it's like, bro, I'm not going for this shit. Drake is making himself look like a complete idiot.
Drake is doing what Drake does.
We have tend to thought that to think that he was a complete idiot in a lot of stuff he did, but we accepted it because it was kind of like a caricature of Coach. He wears the rollers and the beads and stuff. He's just a caricature in that regard. If you look at, this isn't an opinion. If you look at the old caricatures, right, of the what is it, bamboozle type? I can't remember the term. That's what he looks like. He does that. He just mimics those things. And so we're just looking at things for what they are. Who is Drake related to? Like, everybody got upset with Rick Ross for saying, like, this guy is related to certain people that do certain things. So obviously he's playing along with that. Huh?
I missed sorry, Drake, if you listen to this, but I missed the whole Drake and Rick Ross one. I didn't get the chance to listen to it. So I can't say whether one was popping, but I do think before J. Cole pulled it out, I think that was two friends with a plan saying because it was right before Dreamville.
Yeah, no, it's definitely my bad. That's what I mean by orchestra.
That's what I'm saying. When you said orchestra, that's why I screamed, because I'm like, I thought that's like, I feel like they had a comment. Like, if I called you like, Link, look, I want to get some publicity. I want to promote thoughts. Let's let's have an argument on the podcast. And I'm going to make it viral. You talk junk to me, and then later we'll just apologize. That's what I was thinking was happening.
Yeah, it's fake. What's another word for fake? That has to do with technology.
Another
Wait.
word for fake that has to do with technology.
Oh, brother.
Seasonings or additives. What are they known as?
Fam.
Starts with an A.
Okay.
An algorithm,
Artificial.
I was going to say
artificial
additive.
intelligence.
It's artificial, and it's just artificial intelligence. It's
What?
artificial.
Oh,
Hey,
see, I'm over
look,
here.
I'm
I'm
just.
over here looking
I said
for
with
the
tech.
deep
I said with
answer.
tech. It's all right. It's
Yeah,
all
I
right.
was like,
That's
I'm like,
the that's
really?
demonstrative.
yeah.
That's demonstrative of our people like me all over the place. It could mean
I was like,
mad
It was
things.
just a simple answer. Of course, it's artificial, but I thought you were going to say like the deep answer or something.
yeah.
Nah, it's
I was
artificial.
looking for like, okay,
It's just artificially
technology.
and inseminated beefs. It's just everything now is artificial.
Yeah. So what about Chris Brown? Were you surprised by him? Because I was surprised.
No.
Chris Brown could rap. He already said he could rap.
I didn't know he could rap.
No.
Yeah, he could rap.
Chris Brown is he's from our generation.
Yeah,
Come on.
yeah, he can
we
rap.
don't do mediocre, right? Think
I
about
was
it.
like,
Think about it. Chris Brown has been Lil Man for a minute.
Yeah.
Okay? He went from like that little boy.
Trumping.
Exactly. He went from that kid to what he is now. So it's like I'm not surprised. I was like, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I was.
Yeah.
And it's
I
like,
wasn't.
it's
I
like
think I was surprised because I know he knows how to do many. I think he knows how to play basketball. He can.
He's very
good.
talented.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Very much talented.
That's what the slander campaign for him too.
Yeah.
It was like Dr. Evil, like throwing the sharks with the laser beams on it. They was just throwing in different celebrities. All right, you go now.
Your turn.
You go. Oh, Chris Brown, they're gonna love this. They love you. All right,
There's more drama.
Evil twin now. And we was like, cool.
I was like, I'm
Chris Brown
tired.
has his thing.
I'm tired.
He's rapping now. We
I'm
knew he
over
could
it.
rap, but now they made him look like an evil twin. Like it's corny. It's corny.
Yeah.
He's a cool man.
So I have a question from Nat because I know you are multi talented. You know how to rap. I don't know if y'all know how to if y'all know this, but Link does know how to rap. I won't ask you to spit nothing, but how do you harness that when you have so many talents? And it's something I've struggled with over the years. So many ideas, so many talents, so many. How do you harness all of that and still be able to
Good question.
fulfill what the task is?
I'm learning. I have a great mentor and coach. But collaboration. People are like, how are you working on so many projects? Wait a minute. I'm not working on so many projects. I am working to empower people who are working on these projects, striving to bring them resources, connections, ideas, platforms to stand on top of. That's what I'm doing. I'm not doing all of these things. I'm not like all over the place. No, I'm not. I'm very well directed. I'm the Link. I'm the expert. So when I have.
Sorry.
Yo, I'm telling you, I'm making the
you are no seriously. Like, some of my most powerful, like this is where I would give Link some credit too. Okay, this has nothing to do with the question, but people struggle with telling their friends, family, and colleagues the absolute truth, even when it's brutal. So I remember when I dropped my book is 15 Social Media Secrets, but it was 10 when it first got dropped, and I dropped it. And Link calls me. He goes, Zai, I just read your book. I need you to take it down. He said, it's not that it's a bad book, but grammatically it is garbage. Like you are talking like you're talking. But he was right. And no one else would tell me that. But you know what else he did?
I helped too.
But look, let me finish. But what he did was he edited it. Yeah. So he didn't just tell me about the problem. He didn't say, "Oh, you got a booger in your nose." He gave me the tissue to get it out.
Thank you.
So
thank you.
These kind of people are very valuable. They're like priceless because some people struggle with this thing. Girl, you got an eye booger, so now you're gonna let me walk around talk to all these people, and I'm looking crazy.
With your face
messed up. Face looking
yes.
or they just
Like,
tell
oh,
you
you need
all
to
of the
get that
problems
tooth.
and
You
no
need to get that
solution.
toothpaste,
Right.
girl. That thing hot. That
Right.
thing
Get it
hot.
fit. I got a dentist. I got orthodontist. That's what
I
you
can
got.
help
I don't
you.
want you in the face of other people. So
Exactly.
he will always be, Link
Mhm.
asked me for something, for the most part, I will,
Yeah.
I will drop my hat to get it done because
No, that's true. That's true.
I would have
Every
been
time.
in these streets looking crazy because that book was horribly written and I was rushing. The reason why it was not a good grammatically because I was worried about the deadline versus the value of what I was giving out. So
Quality.
the
Quality.
quality
Yeah.
over the deadline. You never want to do that. You never
Yeah.
want to put out something. I'd rather be late and change the date than put out a
Yeah.
certain. Because we had to do it anyway. We had to pause, take it off the market. It only took another week to
Yep.
get it right,
Yep.
and
And then you end up
so
putting more resources in it.
Yep. It was more
yes,
resources,
end up wasting more time. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's
You didn't
something that
waste.
if
You
anyone
that was
has
a
that, that's
lesson.
You
priceless.
learned your lesson.
Yeah.
Oh
You
yeah,
learned
I
your
never
lesson.
did it again. Never ever will rush a
Mhm.
project because of the time. You know what I'm saying? Don't get me
Yep.
wrong, you do want to be on time and
Mhm.
hit the deadlines, but you don't want to put out shit, in the black of better my French. But anyway.
That's true. That's true. And I want to give you before you skip on to the next question credit because people call a lot of men call women emotional, but you are one of the most objective. Like, all right, is this true? Is there some credit to what he's saying or she's saying? All right, yeah. So can I improve? Like, I, you don't just take it on personally. That's my biggest thing. Like, you got a problem
Don't
with
take
something
it
that I'm doing.
personal. Sorry.
Tell me, right? For real, tell me. And I'm gonna ask you, okay, so what do you think the solution is? And if all you can feed me is problems after that, then you're the problem. That's the bottom line. You don't have a solution. You just have an ability to recognize a problem because you're projecting that problem. So
Yeah,
thank you for that, for taking that on and building.
absolutely. I learned a
Right.
long time ago that even when people like tell you stuff that are not for you, sometimes there's some truth in it. They might not say it, but when you have people that are for you and you know that they are not going to tell you to go right when you should go left, then
Uh,
of course I'm not going to take offense to it. There's not
yep,
a lot of people like that, but
yep.
I know it's going to be a objective versus,
Yeah. Yes.
whatever the opposite is of objective.
Spinning. It's spinning.
Yeah,
It's pointless.
you
It's
don't you
spinning.
don't want to. It's nothing wrong. See, another thing is that I think people think is that, and this is trauma. Trauma comes from, not wanting to make mistakes and being fearful of making mistakes and being wrong and
Mm-hmm.
not correcting things is trauma.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's
Absolutely.
natural. To not know is so
It is.
natural. Because kids go, "What's
Absolutely.
this?" I have a kid savior in
All
my
the
in
time.
my daycare. He asks me 1,000, "What's this? What's this? What's this?" Now, if he was
Want
an
to learn.
adult, I would say, "You don't know what that is," and that makes the person
Exactly.
feel like they shouldn't
Great,
know. Like,
It
no,
makes
some
them
people
feel
don't
great
know.
point.
small.
Great
Mhm.
Anyway,
point. Great point. No,
so let's
That's
get
a
No,
to the.
that's
that's a great point.
really important
Go ahead.
to
If
be
I
able
wasn't
to
going to cut.
identify that.
Yeah,
Nah. It's just yeah. Ask as many
it's
questions as you can. That's all I was.
yeah, it's definitely something that we got to be okay with. Nobody don't know every damn thing, okay? And if you
Right.
do,
Right.
if you think you know everything, I'm running. Okay. Anyway,
Yep. Fact.
let us get into this quote of the week. The quote of the week is: "Life is a series of natural and spontaneous changes. Don't resist them. Only creates sorrow." When you read that,
Fact.
what does it resonate? What does it make you think about when you read that?
I love quote for where we are right now as far as paradigm shift is concerned, and the community striving to figure out where they are, and, where they're placed. And they're like, well, I don't know these. The first thing that a lot of people look at is what they don't have, as opposed to amplifying, polarizing you. And when you look at the mainstream media, every single trend, every single idea, every single activation is based off of us.
Yeah.
So we have everything that we need in order to go along with natural spontaneous change that we're seeing and undergoing. And the resistance is us telling ourselves that
Yeah.
we can't.
Or we don't know how,
Yeah,
or
sure.
we're not capable. Yeah, that seems to be the framework of how the culture has been operating in the past. I was at an event where the event holder made a comment about how he attempted to get the culture to come to his event, and the person that the representative that he spoke with told him that the information at this conference was way more advanced than the people were able excuse me, than the people were able to comprehend. And it's like, but you didn't even give them the opportunity to like see it for themselves and experience it for themselves and make that determination.
Yeah.
You know, like you just spoke for them, you know, and I keep telling Link this, a lot of people can't see past their own nose.
Yeah.
Um
I mean, looking.
like, like you have to move in this world beyond yourself, right? The changes that you want, the changes that are happening, they're not going to affect you. They're going to affect the people that come after you.
Generations ahead.
Exactly. So it's important to operate in that, right? To ground yourself, to be aware of your surroundings, so that way every decision that you make, you know, isn't about me.
Yep.
It's, you know, because when you try and stop the things that are going on around you, it does create sorrow.
It does.
Yeah.
And there are gatekeepers in this, like there are gatekeepers to this technology. You know that. There are gatekeepers in the entertainment world. There are gatekeepers that
Just don't go to Diddy house and that gatekeep.
Ooh.
No, sorry.
There you
Yeah,
go.
like for real.
There's a lot of
For real.
gates that you just want to stay away
that
from.
was a
Run from that
microcosm
gate.
of what you see. That is a microcosm of what you see in every industry. Think about this entertainment industry. That's commercials, that's movies, that's music. So every
Nickelodeon.
single market, yes, every single market is a representation of that one umbrella, which is what pushes so-called propaganda.
Yeah.
Now, these aren't conspiracy theories. These are things that have been confirmed by the stuff that we see. So it pushes that. So you have to understand that there's a trickle down sort of economic effect, if you will, when it comes to technology and them being gatekeepers. You know that there are rappers who cannot have cryptocurrency. If it's in their contract, why would you want to keep them?
Yeah.
You know? And so we're working against the gatekeepers. So when people are like, oh, you got to be really careful, you know, people to come after you, it's like, don't affirm that.
Yeah.
Affirm that we are protected in demanding our digital ethics. Just affirm that, and then all else falls into place. You don't have to be worried about
Don't worry about the
for
negative.
doing the right thing, for doing something that benefits you. You have to be worried about those who are trying to keep away from you and making sure that they don't.
Yeah.
So that's where we are.
I love that. And the reason why I picked this quote, because I felt you would probably pull something incredible from it, because it is like, and sometimes a natural and spontaneous process or of changes that go in our life, when we try to fight them and try to change it, change the change. When you try to change the change, it changes you, and then you over here sad, mad, and all in between. So I
don't know
really,
what to do.
really, but I Link, like I said, Link, I don't want to hold you hostage, but tell us how we can get in touch with you. How do people find Link Green the Chemist, and Martisa? Thank you so much for Martika. Sorry, I wrote once I said it the first time. I was like, wait, I'm missing a couple syllables here. I know it ain't just
Hey, at least you caught it. That's an autocorrect.
Yeah, wait. It's like, wait, that's not her name. It was like the voice in my head. It's not her name. Her name is Martika.
It's a fact, baby.
Like Martika. But it's a pleasure having you. You gave so much. Oh, one more question, Martika. How long did it take you to lose the 100 pounds?
I am 2 years in my journey.
Oh,
How about
okay.
that? I'm
50
2
pounds
years.
a year, y'all.
I
You heard that?
haven't.
50 pounds a year.
Yeah. And you got to smart 1% a day. 1% a day. You wake up 30 minutes in the gym. 30 minutes, move your body. Just stretch 30 minutes. You know, eat a cucumber. You know, just change something about what you're doing. In no time, you'll see a difference.
Compound.
Yeah.
Compound interest.
Yeah.
1%.
1%.
Yeah, the 1%ers. So, like, I have had a very interesting health journey, but I'm going through a recovery. So I'm what what made me get back on it is these knees. I got to get Mega knees back. So
Okay,
I appreciate the
okay.
inspiration. Knees is knees, and I'm not that old to be over
I
here.
will say this. I'll say this. Listen, and I told Link this the other day. Squatting. Look, just sit down into a squat. Practice that because
Yeah,
that alone is a full body workout. Just to sit down in a squat, do for like a minute,
yeah.
a
I
minute a
have
day.
to
Just
because
sit in a squat.
my problematic area is my quads. My
That's
quads are
perfect.
weak because they use
Mm-hmm.
part of my quad for my knee.
Mm.
Yeah, you
Anyway,
gotta build that back
so
up. Yeah.
yeah, but it's getting there. We right there, you know. But anyway,
All right.
I wanted to
All
ask that.
right.
So, how can we get in touch and find you when they leave here and they go, man, I got so many jewels, so many notes after watching this. How can they find you, Link?
Mhm.
Uh, on all of the platforms, I am the crypto with a K chemist. It's like kind of spelled there, chemist. It's crypto chemist, the crypto chemist. Except for on Twitter, it's just crypto chemist. Wouldn't let me put the in front of crypto chemist. Um, you can find me on TikTok as web3.tv. I haven't been. Listen, I'm gonna keep it a buck. I really want to stand by the fact that I don't believe in these traditional social media platforms and 16 contracts created.
Well, you broke up a little
You
bit.
know,
You broke up a little bit. You
yeah,
said
I,
you don't believe in these platforms. You believe in
I don't
traditional.
believe. Yeah, I don't believe in these social media platforms that have tricked us into these 360 contracts where we have to continue putting out content in order to get a buzz.
Right.
Even if so I give my content directly to people in my community. You go to web3m3.org, WEB3, M as in Mary 3.org, and you can join our community.
Web3 MB.
M3,
And
Web3, WEB 3, the letter M as in Mary 3.org. Sign up for our synergy. Yeah, sign up for our synergy sessions. They're every Tuesday Eastern time. These are our community things. This is where the community speaks about what they see going on in the culture, how they feel like technology could potentially solve this problem. These are people who know nothing about technology in a lot of cases. They're just exploring and using their imagination to build solutions that are hypotheticals, right, based on hypotheticals. But you will see through these sessions, and that's why we call them synergy sessions, that synergy that we create actually leads us to real solutions that can be leveraged by our people, and we can see where we fit in this new digital age. So we invite everybody to come on to those 8:30 problem solving. Exactly. We want solutions only. So we invite people to come on to those sessions every Tuesday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Those are powered by Bankroll Wealth Builders Group. Big shout out to Bankroll and the team that powers those synergy sessions. These are beautiful sessions where our people see what they're capable of in a way that is unhindered, in an environment where people aren't talking over their head using this overly tech language, right? They're
right.
seeing something like people and like creators that they are, they can build and they can see where their business is. They can get these opportunities that are otherwise pushed away from.
Nice. Woo. Woo. Well, this was a plump, pleasing pleasure and privilege to have the both of you on. That was definitely a pleasant surprise. Link, thank you for
Like those
having
peas,
having
girl.
us.
Yes, how are
Peas,
you?
PPP on. Get no
Am I
PPP
seeing a lot
on.
of
Okay.
peas?
There's a lot of P's. Pleasure, positivity,
Positive.
Paper.
pleasure,
Bring
presentation,
us some
Peter
paper.
Piper, and pickles.
Pickle, pecker, picker, pecker, picker, picker.
Pink
Pickles, not
pillows.
peggers.
And it's
Pickle
like
pepper.
anyway.
It's got to be
Anyway,
pickled.
every
Okay.
Sunday at midnight we drop a new episode with somebody who is phenomenal, or it's myself. And so this show will air sooner than later. Definitely follow Link Green, the chemist, on all platforms. And until next time, Love, peace, and hair grease. Bye. Wait, one second.
Hey.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Thoughts Podcast, true, honest opinions towards success. We hope you enjoyed today's episode, and don't forget to leave us a review, share your thoughts in the comments, and your reviews literally help us to improve and create content that resonate with you. Until next time, love, peace, and hair grease. Bye.